Sometimes, no matter how far you run, how many times you promise yourself that this time it's over, you still end up back with that one person. The world calls it coincidence. Psychology calls it attachment. But the soul, it calls it home. Because certain connections are not made by choice, they are made by frequency. And today we'll dive deep into 15 psychological truths that reveal why you and that one person always, somehow, find your way back to each other. 1. The familiarity principle. Psychology says we are drawn to what feels familiar, even if it once broke us, because the human brain finds comfort in patterns it already knows. That's why, even after time apart, you feel a strange sense of peace when you hear their voice, as if your nervous system finally recognizes home again. It's not just emotion, it's neurological wiring. Your brain associates their presence with safety, even if your heart remembers the pain. 2. The emotional imprint effect. When two people share deep emotional experiences, laughter, heartbreak, vulnerability, their brains create emotional imprints that time cannot erase. That's why months or even years later, a single memory, a single song, can bring it all flooding back. You're not weak for remembering. You're just neurologically imprinted with emotion that never really left your bloodstream. 3. The dopamine bond. When you fall in love, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that creates addiction. That's why love feels like withdrawal when it ends, and why, after separation, you crave that same high again, from the same person. It's not just missing them, it's your brain craving balance, because the person you love became your chemical comfort zone. 4. The mirror neuron effect. Psychologists discovered something beautiful. When two people are emotionally connected, their brain patterns start to mirror each other. Your laughter synchronizes, your moods align. Even your silence feels understood. That's why even distance can't fully break the bond, because your subconscious still carries traces of their energy, mirrored deep inside your emotional body. 5. The incomplete story syndrome. Humans are wired to seek closure, but love rarely gives it cleanly. When a story between two people feels unfinished, when there's a what if left unsaid, your mind keeps looping back. It wants to rewrite, revisit, and restore what never got completed. That's why, no matter how many new faces appear, you still find your thoughts wandering back to the one chapter that never had an ending. 6. The comfort of predictability. In psychology, we call it emotional predictability. It means your nervous system feels calmer with someone whose emotional responses you already understand. Even if they weren't perfect, you know how they speak, react, or stay silent. And that familiarity brings subconscious peace. That's why starting over with someone new feels heavy, because your soul still remembers the rhythm of another heartbeat. 7. The oxytocin loop. Every time you hug, hold hands, or share intimacy, your body releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It's the same chemical that bonds a mother to her child. That's how powerful human attachment can be. When two people share physical or emotional closeness repeatedly, their brains literally rewire themselves to expect each other's presence. That's why separation feels like physical pain, because neurologically, you became each other's medicine. 8. The nostalgia trap. Psychology says nostalgia filters memory. You remember the warmth, not the wounds, the laughter, not the arguments. And that's why, after a while apart, your mind starts painting only the good moments, making you believe it was all beautiful. You're not delusional. Your brain does this to protect you from emotional burnout. But that same illusion can pull you right back into a love story that never truly left your heart. 9. The energetic synchrony. Beyond logic, there's something more mysterious: the frequency between two souls. When two people share emotional resonance, their energy fields synchronize. That's why sometimes you feel their mood even from miles away. You sense their thoughts. You dream of them on nights when they're thinking of you. It's not imagination, it's energetic psychology, two minds sharing the same silent frequency. 10. The scar memory connection. Your mind remembers who held you when you were at your lowest. It stores that care as a survival marker. So even after years when life feels uncertain, you subconsciously seek that same energy again. The one that once gave you warmth in chaos. That's not weakness. It's your mind seeking familiarity in times of fear. And that's why, somehow, you end up messaging the same person every time life feels too heavy to carry alone. 11. The subconscious timing effect. Sometimes timing breaks two people apart, not love. Psychology explains this as differing emotional readiness. You both may love deeply, but if one is healing while the other is searching, you drift. Not because you don't care, but because your timelines weren't aligned yet. But destiny has a strange habit. It waits until both frequencies match again. And when they do, you find yourself standing at the same crossroads again. 12. The selective memory filter. After a breakup, your brain goes into emotional defense. It starts filtering out painful details and exaggerating positive ones. That's why, over time, the person seems more gentle, more loving, more right. It's your heart's way of rewriting history to soften the ache, and that rewriting often leads you right back to the person your heart refuses to forget. 13. The mutual healing effect. In deep connections, both people trigger each other's wounds, but they also awaken each other's healing. That's why the same person who once hurt you can become your greatest teacher. Psychology calls it reciprocal emotional regulation. It means you both evolve through each other's pain, and that's why you keep circling back, because somewhere you sense that the healing is incomplete without each other's presence. 14. The soul memory phenomenon. There are connections that go beyond this lifetime. Psychologists describe it as déjà vu or past life resonance. That feeling of, I've known you forever. When souls have crossed paths before, the energy feels instantly safe. That's why, even after separation, it's hard to let go. Because somewhere, in an unseen realm of memory, you two have promised to find each other again and again until the lesson of love is fully learned. 15. The destiny paradox. And finally, psychology may explain it as patterns, the universe may call it fate. But when two souls are aligned with growth, their paths keep merging, not to repeat the past, but to complete the purpose. Sometimes love is not about staying together forever. It's about returning to teach, to heal, to evolve, until you both rise beyond attachment into unconditional connection. That's why you always end up together, not by accident, but by design. Because certain souls are meant to collide, separate, and return, until both hearts understand the full meaning of love. So if you've ever wondered, why does it always come back to them? Remember this: the universe doesn't waste energy. It only circles back to what still holds meaning. And maybe, just maybe, you're not stuck in a cycle. You're simply walking home to the one your soul never stopped recognizing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe,